to this time, and between January and February 2020, January 2023 to February 2024, over 50 rural communities in Benue State recorded at least 135 attacks, leading to the deaths of over 2,600 people, many of whom are women and children.
Okay, before we dive into that report much later, the picture of the IDPs, we'll come back to that because the Amnesty Program Manager will also join us later on virtually to shed more light on that report. But for now, let's stay with the IDP issues which you mentioned. For instance, the issue of health, and your organization is an initiative for women's health. The women and children is adequately catered for, especially in the internally displaced persons camps.
Talking about health, like I said, the state government and the funding agencies are working really hard to see how to better the lives of these displaced persons. I can say that currently they are training health workers on this course to deploy them to these camps so that they will assess treatment right in the camps. So I can say that there's improvement in the health sector.
Okay, and also the menace of educational needs in the IDP camps.
Talking about education, the out-of-school children have, not that there is no school, there are schools, but the distance. So the distance from the camp to the school is the major issue. And I think the state government and funding agencies are working hand in hand, restructuring and renovating some of these schools so that these children can access education close to the camp.
Okay, and on the part of civil society organizations like yours, what exactly are you doing to also alleviate the plight, especially your own organization that deals with the issues of Initiative for Women's Health as well as right development, especially for the children?
Yeah, what we do, we as humanitarians, we go there from time to time. We share things with them. We share knowledge with them. We educate them on their rights. We, especially the female, the young adults, we educate them on their sexual rights. We educate them. We organize programs on PSS, psychosocial support, and a lot of programs. We get to talk, we get to know them, we get to talk to them, to feel free to speak up when their rights are trampled on.
Okay, and have you by any way come across cases of sexual and gender-based violence as part of the humanitarian situation, especially the women are facing in the internally displaced persons camps?
Yeah, I have not come across any one-on-one case, but these things do exist. And that is why the civil society is there. We always encourage them to speak up and to not to be afraid or scared of anything. They should be able to speak to someone when they experience such.
All right. Dear listener, you may just be tuning in, and the program is Perspectives on Agate Radio. We are discussing the humanitarian situation in Benue State, especially in the light of a recent report released by Amnesty International concerning the humanitarian crisis in the state. And you can participate on the program later at 10 o'clock by calling us on 0814-335-9292. 0814-335-9292. You may also send us a text on 0912-699-9404, 0912-699-9404. Log on to our website on www.agateradio.tv.com to also listen to the program live, and follow our social media pages on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and X, formerly Twitter, to also be a part of the program. You may listen to us if you have your Radio Garden app on any device at all. Later in the course of the program, we'll be joined virtually by the program manager, Amnesty International, Mrs. Barbara Magaji, who will be joining us virtually from Abuja. And we're also expecting the special advisor to the Benue State Governor on security, Mr. Joha, who we hope will join us on the program. And this is what we are focusing on. But before we try to establish a contact with the program manager of Amnesty International, the reports I mentioned to you earlier, Mrs. Doko Ekre, based on records and our investigation, 200 babies delivered in the IDP camps. What is the current status of maternal health need for the women in the whole humanitarian situation of the IDPs?
Thank you very much. Our visit to IDP camp and the major challenges they had was the distance from the camp to the health facility, and we were able to uncover some problems they face, like a woman being in labor and having to trek, delivery items, need for delivery items like pad, tissue, and the rest. They had challenge in providing those items. That's the major issues they had.
Okay, and to what extent?
Okay, when we went out, we were able to locate Red Cross in a camp, and they were doing very well. The Red Cross Society have been a very strong support to them, and even the distance at times when according to some of the campees, they were like, if when one falls into labor, she normally gets the assistance of others, and the security on ground normally assist them if they are around, and their cars are fueled, that they assist them to the hospital. And in cases of emergency, they are attended to in the state teaching hospital. So I think to an extent it is better.
Okay, and beyond labor, you also know that after delivery, postnatal management is there. To what extent is the postnatal situation tended to?
I would say that the postnatal attention there is not very strong, because these women, most of these women, they seem not to know what to do. But with the presence of health workers and the rest in the camps, they are being educated, they are being enlightened about postnatal care, and to an extent they are beginning to work hand in hand with the health workers.
Okay, and working hand in hand with the healthcare workers, the civil society organizations, do you have thematic focus like your own organization, which is about women's health? Do you have other thematic focus in collaboration with other civil society organizations away from issues of health and other areas that the humanitarian situation of the IDPs could be attended to?
Yes, that's where we come in is enlightening them. We enlighten the women on the need for healthcare delivery, to accept the modern way of health care delivery. And I think they are cooperating, because most of these women that would rather prefer to deliver their child right in their tents or in their rooms, they are now willing to access healthcare services with the facility. They are willing to use modern tools and equipment, and we educate them from time to time. We educate them on the need to access these facilities. So at times you these facilities are there, the nurses are there, the health workers are there, but these people may neglect going there to access healthcare services. So our duty here, we encourage them, we speak to them, we tell them these things are free and it is your right to access it. So I think to an extent they are complying, and it's a good one.
All right. Let's hope the situation could be attended to. We have now been joined virtually by the program manager, Amnesty International, who is joining us virtually from Abuja, the Federal Capital Territory. Good morning, Mrs. Barbara Magaji. Hello. Hello. Okay, we will try to re-establish connection with her again to see if we can get through again. But in the interim, let's talk about this report which you were highlighting. For instance, you mentioned that your organization is a local partner with the Amnesty International. Based on the local report as presented here, what do you make of it concerning the humanitarian situation in Benue?
I would say the situation is quite pathetic, but we are looking at the brighter tomorrow, and we must also uh, share in their pain and in their grief. These IDP camps are scattered, or let's say littered everywhere, and I think the state government is working with funding agencies to move them to a more secured environment, and concerning the issue of accommodation and the tent and all of that, the government and the funding agencies, they have made room for a better building, a better environment for the displaced persons. And I will say that to an extent it's getting better. We are getting there.
Okay, you were trying to walk us into some of the statistics based on what they presented. Could you give us an insight into what, as a civil society stakeholder that you are and a local partner with them, what you have seen, what you make of all that was presented?
From what was presented in the photo exhibition and press conference of on conflicts in Benue State by Amnesty International, like I said earlier, about 23 local government areas, of which 18 have been affected by insecurity and face continuous attacks by armed attackers. Because the affected communities are farmers and displacement make them unable to carry out any farming activity. According to information obtained from the Benue State Emergency Management Agency, Benue State has a total of 21 official IDP camps, which are located in Guma, Gwe West, Makurdi, Logo, Agatu, and Kwande. All these official camps exist. Thousands of displaced people are living in host communities across the 23 local government areas. These displacements are having significant adverse effects on the rights of to livelihood and depriving thousands of children of the right to education and development. Now, when this crisis happens, it also affects school. They destroy school buildings, they destroy the schools, and then the fear of the unknown makes these people to flee from their homes and avoid that environment. So it's that is where the education and out of school children comes in.
Okay, so from all of these local experiences that you may have seen working as a civil society stakeholder, does this give a reality of what is actually on ground, or it doesn't represent the true picture?
Thank you very much. This report by Amnesty brings out the true reality of what the displaced people are going through.
Oh, yes, go ahead,
It
please.
brings out the reality of what they pass through, the kind of water they drink, the kind of food they eat, the environment and all. It brings out the reality of what they go through.
Okay, well, we are still trying to establish contact with our discussants who are joining us virtually. There's a slight change of arrangement. We'll try to also get the special advisor to the governor on security, Mr. Joha, who was to join us physically here in the studio. Is not able to make it to the studio, but we'll make an arrangement to get in on form virtually to share thoughts with us very shortly. And here in the studio, I have with me the program manager, Initiative Women for Women Health Women Health Development and Rights Protection. Patience Udoko Ekre is with us here in the studio, and as soon as we're able to get connected with our discussants who are joining us virtually, we'll get through to them. But if you're tuning in and this is your first time on the program, we're discussing the humanitarian situation in Benue. The program is Perspectives, and later at 10 o'clock or beyond that, to be given that we did not start in good time, beyond 10 o'clock, we can also connect with you. You can call in on 0814-335-9292. 0814-335-9292. You can send us a text message on 0912-699-9404. We have now been joined virtually by the Special Advisor to the Benue State Governor on Security, Mr. Joha. Good morning, Mr. Joha. Thank you for joining us on Perspectives here on Agit Radio 95.5 Star FM, Makudi. Join us physically here in the studio, but information just got to me that you are unable to join us physically. We are glad that we have had an alternative way of getting to you virtually. Thank you so much for joining us. Okay, now we are this. Okay, all right. Thank you so much. Now we are discussing the humanitarian situation in Benue, and particularly with reference to a recent report released by the Amnesty International here in Makudi. They released the report on Wednesday here in Makudi, giving a graphic representation of the humanitarian situation in Benue. From your point of view, what do you make of this report?
Yeah, good morning once again. I saw the report by Amnesty International on Premium Times, and I've joined your conversation. As you said, 18 out of the 23 local government areas are honestly checked by armed attackers. This is also true. 18 government out of 23 have been attacked all these years. Most of the things they said here is true. Uh, One aspect that they did not mention here is the improvement in the return to farms.
Okay, like you mentioned, you have cited the figures. Based on what the report says, is that 18 out of 23 local government areas in the state are constantly under security threat from armed attackers. Of these 18 local governments, could you give us an insight into what the government is doing with regards to preventing the attacks, especially in the 18 local governments they pointed out?
If we look at the report by Amnesty, as I said, it's true that it was 18 local governments, but they should be able to explain to the people that out of this 18 local government, there's significant and tremendous improvement because Guma was one of the 18 local governments. And as I speak to you now, I can't remember when there was an attack on people of Guma in the last 3 months. What happens in Guma now is an internal crisis between the Bakin Kota and Kiana, which is a farm dispute between the tea farmers and the Alaga farmers. It is not a banditry attack as it used to be. So Guma is out of it, if you want to be sincere. Uh, a place like Great East was also included. As I speak to you now, I've not received any attack on Great East that is banditry, except the crisis between Great East and Shallow government and that of Great East within themselves. There used to be similar attacks on areas in Buruku. I can tell you categorically, I've not received any complaints areas like Lobo and all of that. So the banditry attacks right now is mostly in Ukun, Kasinala, and partly Lobo, and also Kwande local governments. And these are not foreign bandits. They are criminal elements within these local governments that have held sway. These the agents are seriously on top of the matter, and these guys are being degraded to a very large and significant extent. And people have gone back to their farms, and we are sure that the food shortage that was envisaged, that we're afraid of, will be curtailed by the return of our people to the farms. So, while we agree that there used to be very serious secretions in the next stage, I may go to agree with what the principal, Reverend Hassan Maria, PhD, used to say about significant uh, relative peace, the return of the relative peace in Benue State. I want to confirm that is relative peace in Benue State.
Okay, and that's exactly what the people of Benue State are yearning for. All of us, if there's relative peace, we will get the state will be stable, we'll get to enjoy it, and that's fine. Let's hope government strengthen its commitment, not just to release by Amnesty International, only the duration they cover for 1 year. They also alleged in the report that 55 schools had been destroyed by bandits and closed down due to insecurity, leaving hundreds of children of Benue out of school. Is there any effort on the part of government with regards to reopening some of the schools to provide security so that our children get back to school if it is true as the report presented?
Thank you once again. You see, what is destroyed is more difficult to amend than destroying what has been put in place. So the situation in Benin State was so hot that trying to fix it will not be as easy as people will expect. Now, when you speak about total peace, I want to disabuse your mind and that of the minds of Benue State people about Alia cannot play God, who is the architect of insecurity, who is the distorter of peace, still alive and is still functioning. So if you say want to get total peace, that means you must eradicate the devil. So that you don't instigate the peace. So we're going to have tremendous peace and we're going to have this peace as much as our strength can carry. We are showing the many people that as long as we are in governance, the sincerity of purpose and the continuous focus of this government will make peace to continue to abide. But telling us to have total peace or asking us to assure the people of total peace, it means we're going to play God. Because insecurity started in the Garden of Eden. In Genesis chapter 22, verse 15, Satan breached the security and entered and deceived woman. In Genesis 3, verse 16, God dismissed Adam and Eve and also upgraded the security in Genesis 3, verse 24 by putting cherubims. So this thing has continued. And in the Bible, we see that during the Armageddon War, the Jesus will come back again for Armageddon War, and the Bible says he will bind the son of the devil to the bottomless pit for 1,000 years. You're not kidding.
Okay, Mr.
After that
Joha.
1,000 years,
Okay,
hold on, sir.
apologies
Just
to.
1 minute.
Okay, fine.
1 minute. 1 minute. After that 1,000 years, you come out and see the people. So we are not God. We do our best. The total peace cannot be ascertained if the devil is still alive.
Okay, Mr. Joha, we're Christians. We pray a lot. Let's hope that we'll banish the devil to where he belongs. But back to my earlier question, which was the report alleged that 55 schools had been destroyed and by armed bandits and closed down due to insecurity, leaving children out of school. Is this true? And if it is true, what efforts are being made with regards to getting these schools reopened security-wise so the children can get back to the schools?
First of all, the return of these people to the homestead, their ancestral home, will require the children to go back to school. Secondly, if we are ensuring that there are peace in this place that these people have returned to, if you go to Guma, for instance, you see the atmosphere is conducive and children will go back to school if school resumes. Now we have a robust collaboration with the law enforcement agencies in Benue State to ensure that the schools are also safe. And that was what was exhibited in the attack that took place at the Angus Fraser Memorial School. The swift response of the Benue State government in so many other areas. And so, as I said, when things are bad, to get them back to track will be difficult. So people are coming back, but they want to come back first of all to see how safe the place will be before they start bringing back their families. This is what I observe in my assessment, and I expect you guys as journalists to go and make a investigative journalist and journalism to see that people are actually returning back to their places, but they want to see how the place can be for them to come back with their families. This is what we are going to assure the people. Just like the woman, this one on radio said, the Benue State government is collaborating with other agencies to see that accommodations and all of that is provided to the people to go back. If accommodations are provided to people to go back, they certainly make the provisions also to see that the places are secure. For instance, the government of Benue State, in collaboration with the Nigerian Army, if you watched uh, previously what happened in Benue State, we have robust collaboration with the Nigerian Army to establish FOPs, forward operation bases in Benue State, and also additional barrack in Benue State. The Benue State government has also entered into agreement in partnership with the Navy to open a Type A naval base in Benue State, which is the equivalent of a brigade in the army. So these are efforts to see that these things are need worked. So if you have this put in place and the place is secure, definitely the children will go back and will go back to school. At this moment, we are at the verge of returning people back to their home states. and solidifying the security of those places to see that the full basket is filled. The healthcare centers are going to be littered everywhere. I was discussing with the Commissioner of Health, and you are going to see health centers littered everywhere in Benue State very soon. And these areas will not be excluded. So you have medical care in these areas that people are returning. You have security in these areas that people are returning. And so, just you go number once again.
Okay, just before I let you go, a word of advocacy or a word of caution of what Benue people as citizens, what they need to do security breach.
This is very important, my brother. This is very important. Peace is expensive, but the absence of peace is very, very expensive. On our part as government, we want to stand on the path of security. We are advocating for this peace to be sustained. They must be sincere. You understand? People don't need to take the law into their hands and allow the government security really in Benue State open grazing is forbidden. If you see cattle roaming about with grazing open, it's not in your place to attack them. It's for you to raise an alarm, early warning, for the law enforcement agents to move into the action and apprehend and prosecute the perpetrators. This anti-open grazing law is not meant against the Fulani people. It is meant against anyone that want to do cattle openly. And so if you see open cattle openly, whether Fulani or Hausa or Tiv, do not go and attack them. If someone attack your cow or rustle your cow, do not go and start burning villages and killing people. Report to the law enforcement agents who will arrest those people and prosecute them accordingly. So what we are advocating is for people to be sincere. Let's press this thing straightforward and not take laws into your hands so that there should be peace in the state. We on our part will be sincere. We will not allow sentiments to becloud anybody, but we shall not allow anyone also to take advantage of the situation to cause crisis in the state. So let's allow peace a chance in the state. Peace is not expensive, but the absence of peace is expensive, yeah, very expensive. And so we're talking to our people to embrace peace and embrace peace. Peace is what it's all about. And that is why you see His Excellency, this advice and all his support. It is not weakness anyway.
Okay, we must have to let you go now. Mr. Joha is the special advisor to the in the light of a recent report released by the Amnesty International. We appreciate you for your time, Mr. Joha. Thank you very much for joining us. We appreciate you. All right, we've been speaking with the special advisor to the Benue State Governor on Security, Joha, who joined us virtually to share thoughts with us on the program. We appreciate him very sincerely, and we're also trying to establish contact with the program manager, Amnesty International, who we also shed light on the report for us to get a deeper insight into it. And here in the studio, I have with me the Program Manager Initiative for Women's Health Development and Rights Protection, RAHI, the Program Manager Patience Idoko Ekre, a civil society person, is here leading us in the discussion. And you too can participate by calling in on 0814 335 9292. 0814 335 9292. That's the line to call, and you can also send us a text on 0912 699 9404. 0912 699 08. Okay, 0912 699 9404. That's the line to send a text or a chat to. We've now been joined virtually by the program manager, Amnesty International Nigeria, Barbara Magaji. Good morning, Mrs. Magaji. Welcome to Perspectives. Thank you so much for joining us on Agate Radio here in Makudi.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right. We have had a tough time getting to connect with you, but we are glad we're able to connect with you finally.
No problem. Thank you.
Very well. Now, on Wednesday this week, your organization, Amnesty International, released a report on the humanitarian situation in Benue. Could you give us some insights into what this report is all about?
Okay, so thank you so much, listeners. So sometime early this year, in the first quarter, we did a research across different states, including Benue State, on the humanitarian situation, the results, the reason, to understand the conflicts, but also to see the effects and impact of the conflict on the society. And one of the major things we found, of course, is our focus was to look at the IDP situation, so the internal displacement situations in the affected states. So, for instance, Benue State. And we look at different camps. So we visited different camps to understand, and host communities to understand what is the current situation. Once conflicts arise, that's to government on what to do. So the first things we saw were, of course, we've heard and in the past what had happened with respect to loss of lives. We had a total of between a period of January 2023 and based on our DEX research and interviews up to February 2024, 135 attacks, we documented 135 attacks took place in Benue State in different local governments, in different communities, resulting in over 2,600 deaths. That is a lot. That is massive. That's about 1 year. The loss of one life is important, not to talk of thousands. And amongst them, as you know, normally when things like this happen, when conflicts happen, the vulnerable population are women and children. So a substantial number of them, were women and children. And we went into the camps to look at, yes, those that flee the conflicts, those that were survivors, what is happening with them. We saw that some of the camps are properly structured based on support and government's collaboration together. But other camps were makeshift arrangements. Some of the camps were just, you would see people in where the rains meet them, and that's where the sun meets them. And this has been going on, for a long time. We went across different camps in in Guma local governments, Gwe West, Makodi, Logo, Agatsu, and Kwande. These were the focus areas where school locations. So schools that are used by students, and there will be an arrangement where the camp situation, some of them stay there throughout the day. Sometimes you see people go out. Another thing we also saw was also that women would go to the local markets, not with any form of purchasing power, no money in their hands, but they would go to the markets and identify where food items back to the camp. The bins had dirt with stones and sand, and they would sieve out the waste from the good product, which is the beans, so that they can sustain themselves in the camp. If they were in their communities, if they were in where they are coming from, their ancestral lands. These are people who are farmers. These are people who were sustaining themselves before the conflicts came to be. For us as an organization, that's a violation of their right to livelihood, even their economic empowerment. So it's a socio-economic issue for us, apart from the fact that the violation of their civil rights, for instance, their right to life for those who have gone, but also the constant fear and threats that you're not at peace. For the children, there's violation of their right to education, violation of their right to development. They can't develop themselves in an atmosphere where the place is not peaceful. So generally, those were the things, that we observed, and we engaged with government to draw their attention. Our mandate is draw the attention of government to what is expected to be done. And our concern is, it is not to address the symptoms or the effects, but what are the root causes? What is causing these decades of conflicts? How are these conflicts not being addressed? What actually is being done? Are the perpetrators addressed? What is being done? Do we need to move away from certain things? So for a long time, we have looked at Nigeria addressing these conflicts, militarization. Do we need to move to another method? Because at the end of the day, we've seen conflicts in different parts of the world. We're not an organization that will suggest to the government what to do. But I think there's need for us to look into what should be done to address the problem. Would it be a combination of transitional justice processes so that we'll come to peace? Would it be just militarization of the process? Would it be community policing? Those are the things that are bringing this effects of internal displacement, and the root causes needs to be addressed.
Okay, as a human rights organization, what root causes have you identified in investigating this kind of situations?
I think for us, issues of governance. So if you look at the conflict situation, I think a lot of issues of governance have, for a long time, not been adhered to, in the sense of the Nigerian society as a whole is currently in a very, shaky atmosphere. Yes, we do a sense of elections, we go through the circle, but after that, what next? What is causing a lot of the tensions in the country? What is causing in the past? Sorry to use an ethnic group, but in the past, let me not use an ethnic group. In the past, you would have headers coming to communities. And I remember growing as a young person, a header will pass your community with heads, and you would wave him and he would give you the milk that he's extracting from his cattle. And he's waving you passing through your farmland. And it wasn't a problem. Where have we lost our values? What's the problem? What's bringing these tensions? And of course, part of the problems are also, if you look at it, you would see that in certain situations, you find headers moving. Is it likely that the climate change is also contributing to this problem? Is it likely that we're not living harmoniously again? So there will be different discussions that need to take place to identify some of these problems. And I think we're shying away from the problem. How many perpetrators in the past? We've had this conflict across different types of conflicts. But if you look at the Middle Belt, for instance, where we are focused in, at least in this research, how many perpetrators have been brought to justice? What is justice for the communities? Are the communities part of the process of identifying what justice is? We tend to see, for instance, when you look at it even from the gender perspective, and even for youths, how many youths are part of the peace processes? What is peace for the community? Is it the Nigerian state that decides this is peace? So it's diverse things. And I think government needs to take up the responsibility and identify what these issues are, because we cannot, no matter how many times international support comes, philanthropic support comes, and no matter how much government invests in putting in the budgets how to address IDP situations, if the root causes, which is conflict, is not stopped, then we'll keep on having this situation, and it will be a sorry state for us.
Okay, now your report, which you pointed out, covering between January last year to February this year, it said mostly affected of the figure you called out are women and children. Is there any form of intervention as an international human rights organization that you are offering to the women and children with regards to cushioning the situation they are facing?
Yes, so we do our research, our work is based on research, and we always prefer evidence-based research, and that's why we did this research. It's very new. Our plan is we're still planning on what next to do, but in the past we've done interventions in IDP camps where we go there, and for us is to address even the psychosocial have to cramp together to live in those spaces. So we've had in 1 or 2 IDP camps in the FCT where we had a program. We celebrate specific commemoration days. So the just recently passed Children's Day, we had a football match with the youths, and also even with women and girls and men who were willing to be parts of the process. The responsibility for us is to do the part we can, and since it's an intervention, it's time bound. But the bigger responsibility on welfare and security is the role of. We'll look into it and see what we can do for the IDP camps that we have visited.
Okay, now back to the question of where your report has focused, and which is also part of what we're discussing.
I think when we were at the program 2 days back, the DG, who is in charge of international development, rest. But I think justice goes beyond, like I said, addressing these things, supporting the camps and making them in good situation, as it were. Justice goes beyond engaging those who have gone through this conflicts. And we will need to come to an agreement as a country, as a people. What does justice mean for instance, in Otese, for instance, what does justice mean for them? In Gwe West, in Makod, like different parts, in Anambra, in Kogi, what does justice mean? We need to bring in citizens to determine what justice is. At the moment, what we see is that government is addressing, like I said, securitization, militarization, addressing it that way. Is that what communities want? Is that what those who are affected want? Yes, you can curb the conflict, you can stop it, you can counter the perpetrators. But after that, what then happens? What do you do with these guys that have been in those spaces? So it's more than that. Like I said, have the perpetrators been brought to justice? Has anyone been prosecuted? Has there been any form of conflict resolution between the two sides, depending on what conflicts we're talking about? It's more than just us talking about it, because a lot of times you might come with a suggestion of what justice is, but that's not what the community wants. Some communities want apologies. Some communities want people to come and say, we've wronged you, we are sorry, we want to come back to stay with you, do you accept? It's more than just, it will be, justice will not be one-way traffic, it will be different things. And justice will be justice for the victim, generally. So it's a lot of things, and I think we need to open our mind. The discussions have not been had in different parts of the country. We see the same method of addressing this insecurity and conflict, and we're not getting results. Some of these issues are metamorphosing into other vices that we're not able to manage.
Okay, just before we let you go, Magaji, your report also indicated that at least 55 schools had been destroyed by armed bandits and closed down due to insecurity, leaving hundreds of children out of school. What can be done with regards to giving the children education as a basic, fundamental human right that is being violated?
I think it's a matter of urgency. I think about 10 years ago or thereabouts, if I'm not mistaken, UNICEF actually said Nigeria had 10 million out of school children. And if I'm again not mistaken, last year or this year, 10 years after, we now have 20 million children out of school. So it means we have doubled, 100% we've gone. And so a child that was born 10 years ago is now 10 years. If you are not careful, if you don't address the situation, by the time the child is 20, all the child knows is either he's out of school or he is living in a situation or a society where conflict is all he knows. And then that is what the child will pick up. If the child is not even with his parents, it becomes a problem. So there needs to be an urgent thing that we need to do. Now we're seeing a lot of our youths going into vices that are bad. And like I said, we have values. And our values are based on our society. The Constitution provides certain values. One of the main things it says is social justice. Where are we seeing that? Respect, integrity is not there. But if a child grows, you give birth to a child today, and in the next 10 years, all he hears and knows is insecurity, conflict, gunshots, all kinds of things. That is the life that child will go through. Government needs to come together in all sphere. We need to put it as a matter of emergency to address this, that ensure that children go into schools at whatever level. Now, even if we want to remedy the situation, the ones that have been out, this 20 million, we need to find a way around. If, for instance, they are within the school age time frame, even if they're not within our normal school system, we can have some level of ad hoc education or informal education for them to address this conflict, to address this situation. Because before you know it, perpetrators who are looking for willing parties, all you need is to say, I would give you this sum of money and please come and join. And insurgency in the Northeast. What brings about child soldiers? The child is not enrolled in school. There's no proper upbringing. Maybe the parents are gone as a result of the conflict. So their need immediately, like we said in Benue State, 55 schools. That's a lot if you look at it. Possibly these are the ones that have been documented. What of the ones that have seen that they address issues of school? There should also be safety in the schools. We know how our schools have become targets of attacks. Even if we put up, welfare should be taken care of. That's why sometimes you have these problems, so that the teachers can serve there. Even if we can't afford to pay full, We have retired teachers who are willing to engage. We can engage with them. Each state can have its own approach. There's no blanket approach on what can be done. Because if you educate the child, you have done marvelously for the country. And I think that would be one of the ways that we can address some of these problems.
With the special advisor to the Benue State Governor on Security, who joined us virtually to share thoughts with us on your report, and he made some comments on it, and also give commitment of government that they are committed to working in line with your report to see how the issues could be addressed. So we just want to put that in proper perspective so you could understand that your work is not in vain and the government is willing to act on it based on what the special advisor has confirmed to us on this program.
Thank you for letting me know that.
Thank you so much, the program manager, Amnesty International Nigeria, Mrs. Barbara Magaji, for your time with us on Perspectives. We deeply appreciate you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Have a great day, ma'am.
All right, bye.
Thank you. All right, we've been speaking with her very sincerely for sharing her thoughts with us. The line for calls is open now, and you may call in. You have to really understand with us on today's edition of the program. Ordinarily, we should have started taking calls at 10 o'clock, but we stretched beyond the limit. But now the line is open. We engage with the callers before we continue. Good morning and welcome to Perspectives.
Emeka from North Bank.
All right, welcome.
Really, like what Madam has said and the advisor have said also, is very pathetic that we used to be in peace before, and somewhere along the line, men and women who are farming in the farms became members of who lives in the IDP camp today. It is very difficult for a man to leave his house, his community, and stay somewhere as a refugee. So like what they have said, I am calling on government, like the Benue State governor have been doing. I want him to do more so that these people can be resettled in their homes. The previous administration tried their own, but today it is Alia. Alia should do everything possible to make sure that these people return back to their home. Because if you look at today, somebody who used to eat 3 square meals in his house from his farm, he gets enough food, and today you subject him to eat maybe 1 square meal. Even that 1 square meal is not okay. I want the government to do the needful by making sure that security people goes back to those areas.
All right.
Secondly, again, for them that are staying in the IDP camp,
Mr. Emeka,
that it is not their permanent home.
We must
but
thank
by
you.
the grace
Thank
of God,
I'm so sorry. Thank you so much. You have made your point quite elaborately. Let's go along so the line is open for others to also engage with us because we need to hear from others too. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Welcome to Perspectives.
Yes, my name is Jeff Msu.
Okay, Jeff Msu, where are you reaching us from?
Yes, from Welfare Quarters Extension.
Okay, Welfare Quarters Extension?
Yes.
All right.
I want the people to know is this problem started way back. There's a remote cause to this problem, environmental degradation. So people have to go out for survival. These people invading our communities are out for survival. So our governor cannot do this alone. He needs the help of the federal government to resettle those people at their places, not the IDP, but the people invading our communities. That's what I want the people to know. Thank you.
To resettle the people invading our communities?
Yes, the federal government.
No,
because they are out for survival.
James, so maybe we lost track of what you said. Is it the people invading our communities that should be resettled or the IDPs? Put it in proper perspective. Let's get to understand you. Oh, Jeff is off the line already. Okay. Can they make brief comments on what the security advisor to the governor and also the program manager for Amnesty International have stated concerning in their different submissions? What do you make of it? Are they dissenting opinions you share with them?
Thank you very much. Concerning insecurity in Benue State, it is through joint effort that we can come together in unity and fight this demon that has faced Benue State. And it begins with you and I. These invaders that move around with guns, attacking people. They are humans. They are our brothers, they are our relatives, they are neighbors, they are people we interact with. So we would always say, if you see something, say something. Don't keep quiet. When you notice a neighbor that is not working in a notable organization, and he's spending money buying cars, and so it is a joint effort of every member of the society to work hand in hand with the security agency and the government to bring justice and peace to Benue. Thank you.
Okay. Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Okay, Dambauka, welcome.
The first thing that came to my mind, I greet your guests and all those people who have contributed. I remember, I'm so ashamed, some of my books, I can't remember where they are. One of them, they call this Dogs of War. The whole world is becoming very violent. Our people need to just get educated. That no matter how poor you are, your own environment is your own. Try to preserve it. If you go to the city of Makodi, you see the way our people are giving their places everywhere, shop, metal containers everywhere. There is no order at all. That is why you can remember the governor said public order. So, for now, those people will be well trained. The Israeli, I keep repeating, Bengalian legacy. They saw themselves very vulnerable, just like we are in Benue. So they trained themselves to be cohesive, to be together, to be one, to take note of an enemy easily. You know, our people are too fond of, like that young girl is there. Somebody is living extravagant. You can't tell where his own cars are. You can't tell where his own farm is. Not any organization. And then everybody wants to be the friend of that person so that they can enjoy life. So at the end of the day, we are losing what our forefathers have fought for. They fought for it. We remember the hard issue. They said the thing was stopped in Benue. And you think those histories are forgotten. Those people are saying, okay, now these people have become weaker. We want them to be more aggressive. Oneness to arise in the midst of the people of Benue so that you defend your ancestral land. People talk about the IBC. I'm ashamed that I've never really gone there. But I thank God that I have always prayed for them and I've done my best to pay my taxes. And I'm sure that one way or the other, government has reached them through my own support. So at the end of the day, let the people of Benue come to be one.
All right.
Remember, if you don't defend this place, one day you'll be nowhere to be found.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Adabaka. We appreciate you for calling in. The line is still open, 0814-335-9292. But we must have to go along, even as we try to accommodate several of these calls. In terms of justice, you listened to the Amnesty International program manager stressed the issue of justice. From the civil society point of view, do you see that justice?
Thank you very much. Like she mentioned, justice to Mr. A may differ from justice to Mr. B. So maybe in one community, taking them back to their ancestral homes, you have given them justice. In another community, bringing the perpetrators to book is the justice they demand. So justice it's not a unified thing. It goes across communities and the locals, what they really want. Like she mentioned that reconvening these people and knowing what they really want is a step.
Apologies to interrupt you. Let's engage with a few more persons. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Welcome to the program.
I am on Dashi Gabriel from Ojakwa Madoka.
Okay.
Benue State, our beautiful state. It's appalling. It's beautiful this time now. Humanitarian situation that happens in Benue is not our making. It's man-made and deliberate in our making. What we want to happen now is all is not happen. My own take is this. Let the government, the budget they make, at least 1/4 of the budget goes to security something, so that they have to face, instead of making budget for roads. If roads are created, constructed, and there's no human being who can take the through the road. If food is provided and there's no human being who is eating that food, so the first thing I want the government to do is to provide budget for security situation, so that whatever they do, they have to secure the state is first before any other thing.
All right,
Thank you.
thank you so much, Adam. Gabriel, on that you appreciate you for calling in. The budget for security should be strengthened. 0814-335-9292. I'll come back to you shortly. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, presenter.
Thank you for joining us.
It's the voice of Mark. I want to
Okay, Mark, go ahead, please.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. You know, I start by saying we used to say, if you see something, say something. Please, appealing to the government that they should liaise with the rural communities informal, so that the useful information will be given to the security, because as a food basket of the nation here, you see there is poverty on the ground, hunger on the ground. It's just because farmers are not going to their farms with their daily activities. And there are some people living in RDP camp today that yesterday they were people given to people, but today they are begging. So it is a very, very ugly situation for them. So if the government makes sure that we overcome the challenges of insecurity in the state here, I think the farmers will be able to go back to their ancestral homes to carry on their activities, and we will have a bumper harvest here, and we will overcome the hunger challenges.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Mark. Thank you so much. Thank you. We appreciate you. We're so sorry. We'll have to be really, really brief in our submission so we can also accommodate other shades of opinion. But I will allow you to conclude your thoughts on what the communities seek as justice from the point of view of civil society actors. When you engage with communities where these are human, there are communities that are.
Like I said earlier, it varies. In some communities, what they really want is to go back to their ancestral home. And I earlier said that there's no magic around it. Turning them back to their ancestral home without putting things in place is re-endangering their life for the second time. And then I think that is what the government is trying to avoid. So they are working on a strong base before they can take them back to their ancestral homes. And to some others, they find it difficult in the camp because their host communities are not fully receiving them as it should be. For instance, they will have to beg for a small space to plant their vegetables. They have to beg for water when there is no water in the camp. When they go to the host communities to get water, it becomes an issue between them and the host community. While in other areas, the host community are accommodating, they welcome them, they share things together and all of that. So it differs from community to community.
Okay, so but in the end, justice should be served according to what is their desirability in each community. Hello, good morning.
Good morning. My name is Obina, calling you all the way from Zone 4.
Okay, Obina, are you in traffic?
Yeah. My shop is close. My shop is close to the main road.
Okay, let's know your name in full.
For me,
your name
I
is.
would say that.
Your name is. Hello.
Yeah, you can hear me now.
Obina who, please?
Yes. I say for me,
Yes, Obina, may I know your full name, please, before you make your submission?
Okay, my name is Obina Chukwuka.
Okay, go ahead, Obina Chukwuka.
For me, I would say, if we are talking about security issue, it starts with our security man, because in a state when you can hold somebody that commits a crime and take him to a security official, tomorrow you see that person being released and come back to attack you, which is very, very bad. The security system has to be taught to bring people to justice, not all about taking from the other side of it. Because we have witnessed so many times bringing people, holding people from my own side of area, taking them to the station. The next morning, you see them come back. And the next thing you will hear, the person will start attacking you, which is not very, very good. They have to try their possible best to have something to bring those people to justice. Not only because when they are taking it, they will say we and them are one. But we are doing from our own side. They too, they should be doing from their own side. That is the advice I have to give to the government, to tell the security system, as far as somebody is found guilty, or bring that person should be bring to justice. That is it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Obina. We appreciate you for calling in. Thank you so much. The line is still open 0814-335-9292. You can send us a text to 0912-699-9404 if you are not able to connect through that line. Let's take some few messages before we come back to possibly try to draw a concluding thought. This one says humanitarian condition of the internally displaced persons is an emergency exigency of the warring factions and a matter of concern. May we have the people that owns the country at heart and the future to help those on the bread line. Isaac Otsua from EA. Okay. Isaac, thank you for
Hello. Morning, sir.
Morning. Welcome to the program.
Yeah, thank you. I am Tezingwe Simon.
Okay, Tezingwe Simon, where are you reaching out from?
Hello?
You are on Tezingwe Simon. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Nigeria.
Nigeria in Makudi or where?
In Makodi. Yeah.
Okay, go ahead, please.
Thanks for the guest in the house.
Welcome. Go ahead, Tezingwe.
What I got to add is that I want us to understand that if we didn't unite, if the state or the federal government didn't unite together, especially the state, if they are not united together, they can find this insecurity years and years come. Our past administrations always just done that serious mistake. We should find ourselves to unite even our traditional rulers and the state local governments, the stakeholders and the leaders for this particular local government to come together and unite. Let's find out the solutions that we can take and solve the issue, the matter of the security. Or you are not done that kind of thing. How if the person is penetrating to the person that we didn't inform or not together, how do we be able to find out what is really the problem in that particular area? Thank you so much. That is my advice to have to give.
Thank you, Tezungwe. Simon, we appreciate you for your advice. Our people should unite to stem tide of insecurity. Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Welcome to the program.
Yeah, Usman Abu from North Bank.
Usman Abu, welcome to Perspectives. Go ahead, please.
Thank you. My own is a question. I have a question to the guest.
Okay.
Please, those headers people, those headers that are coming to Benue State, is it that they are visible, they are invisible, that those areas, I know they must have crossed one state before coming to Benue State. Is it that there are no security, interstate security or what? Or can the government try to create any interstate security for the bordering area? As you want to cross to this state, there is security, so we can move those headers back to where they come from. Or are those headers too many in that they are without their cattle in the forest there, they cannot go back to where they come from, or what? What is their problem?
Okay.
That is my own question.
All right, Usman Abu, thank you. Unfortunately, as a civil society person, maybe she can attempt that, but it would have been good.
Yes, good morning, Mr. Nathan.
Morning to you.
My name is Stefa S.C. calling from KN, Kano, northwest part of Nigeria this morning.
Welcome to Perspective, Stefa QK. Please make your submission.
Okay. Thank you so much for anchoring this program. You see, drug abuse has been spreading all over Nigeria now. If I can say all over country. If you are hearing this, you can see how NDLA have intercepted social people on the airport here and there. To me, awareness has to be created, and government has to.
Hello, Tefa QK.
Yes.
Yes, where our focus today is on the humanitarian situation in Benue. That is what we are discussing on this edition of Perspectives.
Okay, humanitarian.
Situation in Benue State.
Okay. Sorry. I thought that it's drug abuse is thing.
Okay.
Well, thank you so much for correcting me. Sorry.
Yes.
You see, humanitarian workers have been trying in Benue State because in some couple of years now, Benue have been facing a lot of challenges, especially insecurity. I know that the Red Cross Society and the rest, they are trying, but government has to redouble their efforts so that they can recruit and strategize and sensitize people how to cope this menace. Not in Benue, all over Nigeria, but we are focusing in Benue. So mobilization has to take place, awareness has to be from the grassroots level to the low world to federal and to state level. I think, and the welfare of this personnel should be number one thing in priority because they are facing a lot of difficulties. I think by doing that, we have to hear positive results. So I'm urging the state government, let them all relent, let them redouble their efforts so that those personnel too they can smile. That is my contribution.
From Tefaki, okay, as we gradually draw our concluding thoughts. And Mrs. Udoko Ekre, where do we go from here with regards to giving a new direction to addressing the humanitarian situation in Benue, especially maybe if we should narrow to the thematic focus of your organization, Women Head Development?
A special breed. Women are special in every aspect. So we must respect the rights of at all levels. We must involve women in every level of government and whatever, because women are they come with power. Women are stronger than.
How about those in vulnerable situations? Because if we're talking about getting them involved, some are already in the vulnerable situation confined to IDPs. How do you get to involve them?
Even in their situation, women should be involved even in the management of the IDP camps. They shouldn't be seen as weak. For instance, the IDP camps have their admins, they have their administrative structure. Women should be involved. Women should also be involved in distribution. Women should be involved in whatever they do.
Okay, and what can we do to also protect the rights of children, especially those in the vulnerable situation as IDPs?
Now, to protect the rights of children, like the CSO, we always go there, educate them, let them know when to scream, let them know what their rights entails them. We let them know when they should report a case, who to channel it to, how to go about it. We tell them, we educate them generally on their well-being, and then the rights of children is already the rights of these vulnerable children is already stampled on, because majority of them are out of school. So one way of helping them out is working towards getting these children back to school, either formal education or informal education. Informal education, like I've seen where CSOs go there, engage them in barbing. They learn how to barb, they learn how to make hair. The different new for well-meaning Nigerians, well-meaning Benue State indigenes to go out there, see area, look at areas that you can assist these children and women, and you can use your personal resources also to contribute into to better the lives of these people. So I think it's like I said earlier, it is a joint effort. Through joint effort, through unity, we will pass through this phase successfully.
And that is our hope too. We must draw our curtains on today's edition of Perspectives, which we discussed the humanitarian situation in Benue State. I appreciate very sincerely the program manager, Initiative for Women's Health Development and Rights Protection, RAHI, the program manager. And we also appreciate discussants who joined us virtually on the program. Earlier on, we had the program manager, Amnesty International Nigeria, Mrs. Barbara Magaji, who joined us virtually from Abuja. We appreciate her for sharing her time with us on the program. And of course, the special advisor to the Benue State Governor on Security, Mr. Joe Ha, also joined us and shed light on some of the issues we are appreciating very sincerely too. Dear listener, that's our program for today. The next time you listen to us on Perspectives will be Monday next week. Do keep a date with us and have yourself a great weekend. My name is Nathaniel Nongo. Please, let's collaborate and lend a helping hand to curtail the humanitarian situation in Benue State. Have yourself a great weekend. I'll see you Monday next week. God keeping us. Bye-bye.
You just listened to Perspectives, which discuss the humanitarian situation in Benue State. Join us again on Monday for another edition. You're tuned to Agate Radio 95.5 Star FM, Makudi of mixed music. I hope that you would stay with us.
Yo, man, hold on, man. Y'all got to turn them radios up. Y'all got to turn them up. Turn them radios up.
95.5 Star FM, Makudi, the people's voice.
Hey, you still be my brother, no matter the weather.